Greetings, Hellions, and welcome to Project Cars. This is a game that I used to live stream the career mode for back on the Xbox One, and so I thought I'd bring it over onto the PS4 because I find it somewhat easier to drive. We're not going to be doing career mode, we're just going to have a demonstration of one of my favourite tracks of all time, as it is the weekend of the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. But we're not going to be doing the modern Hockenheim track. As you can see, we are going to be doing the old Hockenheim track, the blast through the forest, separated by 3 chicanes, one of the legendary tracks in the history of motorsport, and something that sadly is no longer with us, to great shame, but I guess they had their reasons for that, but at least we can keep it alive. So we'll do a few laps in a free practice, and then we'll do a quick race and see what we can get up to. Okay, so we get ready to leave the garage and free practice and see what this track is like. I have driven it quite considerably off camera. Tried to do a race the other day, crashed while I was leading, wasn't pretty. Have to do better. And anybody who knows anything about Hockenheim will probably tell you the same story, that this is in most cases a much lamented demise, because this was a very special track. How it comes out of the stadium section and then burst through the forest like this. Very scary to drive, quite dangerous. This is where Jim Clark died in a Formula 2 race, I believe, because at the time it was common for the Formula 1 drivers to drive, I'll say that in English, other series, support series, and unfortunately it was a very miserable weekend and Jim Clark suffered a crash. There's a memorial to him out in the forest somewhere here. But none of this is here anymore. It's all been given back to nature. It's all been grassed over and had trees planted. And the circuit much shortened by, of all people, my favourite track designer in the world, Herman Bloody Tilke. Love the man, love his tracks. Hashtag sarcasm. And so coming up here now, we are going a little bit too fast is what we are. But people will recognise this, I'm sure, as the part of the track that we still have. The stadium section, which remains largely unaltered to this day, I believe. We'll just do a couple more practice laps and then we'll go and we'll do a race. One change they have made, this first corner is now tighter, I think, compared to what it was. And this is the run down to where the track changes, which is roughly here, I think. Goes off on the long curving straight towards what is the modern day hairpin, and then rejoins the old track just after that hairpin, actually, with a slight deviation for some other corners that were built in. And the last race on this extended version of the circuit, or the original circuit, the better circuit I should say, was in 2001. It was a race that had a very notable crash at the start. Luciano Berti went up and over the back of Michael Schumacher's ailing Ferrari and flipped it, rolled it, and the wheel came off his car, and I think it actually landed in Enrique Bernoldi's cockpit, the cockpit of his Arrows car. Pardon me. Yes, I do still have the chest infection, but it is slowly clearing up. These things always take a long time for me. Holy shit, I balls that up. Won't be doing that in the race, or rather, will be doing that in the race, sadly. So yeah, I miss this old version of the track so much. wasn't so much a challenging track. They just took all the aero off the cars. It was a challenge when they got to the chicanes and the stadium section because the Formula 1 cars had no aero on them. They were running bare minimal wing levels to get the straight line speed and acceleration down the straights. Where of course today it's a different story, but if you ask the drivers, one thing they will tell you is that the blast between the trees was damn scary back in its day, daunting, especially if the weather was bad. It used to hang in the trees. And it's a sore point to me, I guess, because I think we don't have tracks that have this kind of character now. You know, Silverstone's been modernised. Monza is in danger of falling off the calendar completely. We don't visit Imola anymore. Hockenheim's been shortened. We go to a lot of modern facilities, which, hey, I have no doubt, they are very impressive, but they don't have history. I'm not so sure they will ever have the character of places like this, or Monza, or Imola. And I don't know, I just think that modernisation is okay, but you know, you need to have, excuse me, this damn chest infection. You need to have a bit of the character still within the sport, and if you lose it all, then you just sanitize it and it becomes, I don't know, it loses its soul. I think losing Monza would be like losing this. It would lose a big piece of its soul. But just one man's opinion. I'm sure others will have entirely different ones, and that is A-okay. That's what opinions are for. So we're going to finish this lap, if we don't spin it off on the high curves. And then we'll go and we'll do a quick race. Back it off, and I'll be back momentarily for the race. Alright, we're just going to do a God, excuse me, this is really getting annoying. A 5-lap race. I'm not sure how long that will last. I don't think it'll last altogether too long. And I've set the grid order, as you can see, to random. They're at about 75, so they should be challenging without being impossible, I would say. Light cloud, date type, doesn't really matter as long as it's not raining. So let's apologies if you can hear my fan in the background as well. When I have my TV, my PS4 and my light on, it gets warm in my room, very warm. It holds the heat well. God, this is just going to be an episode of me shifting phlegm out of my throat, isn't it? I'm sure you're all delighted by that. I'm sorry if it's coming too loud down the microphone. I am trying to minimize it, but the more I talk, the more I need to cough. So we're starting P12, 5-lap race through the old forests of Baden-Württemberg and the Hockenheim. Holy shit, 3 wide through the first corner is not good. I can tell you, because that happens. Hopefully you'll see some crazy ass slipstreaming as well. That was a very common thing. This was more of a drag race than a F1 race back in the day, but that's what made it so enjoyable. I'm on the grass and I'm way too late for my braking zone, and I'm going around because this idiot doesn't know how to yield, and this idiot doesn't recognize that I'm trying to rejoin the track. Project Cars AI, what can you do? Right, I'll answer that question for you. Really not a lot, to be honest, because they are fucking dumb. Right, let's get in this slipstream and we'll see how overpowered the slipstream could be back in the day. It's a little bit more effective in this game, to be honest, than it was in real life. It was never quite that easy to overtake somebody, but maybe that's because I haven't got them set to the right level, or maybe I'm just better into brakes. Could be any number of reasons, really. Back into the stadium section, which is still to this day. Try not to slide the rear too much. Holy shit, that didn't take much to get the rear loose. Going wide, missing apexes. It's all good. In P10 I made up 2 places, would have had more, but this idiot in front of me decided that he was holding on to his position at all costs. If we can get into a slipstream, I think we can overtake him. And they're better into braking, into that first chicane than I am. I seem to be better into the last chicane, which I believe is called the Senna chicane. And they can actually ride the curves a lot harder than I can. If I tried to do that, I would just bounce and spin. But we know for a fact in Project Cars that these things don't affect the AI so much, but they do the driver.
Big push now, let's fight our way fast.
They're all drivers. The player cars seem much more affected by real life physics than any of the AI. So we just have to contend with it. It is what it is. We're slowly closing in the slipstream. I don't think we're going to get him this lap. We might get him on the next lap. If I don't spin, of course, like that, because holy hell, the rear got loose then. My car doesn't react well to bumps. I don't know what setup I've got on it, but it does not like bumps, I can tell you that much. It's not going to like grass much either, so you might want to brake a little bit earlier for that corner. This isn't Colin McRae Dirt 2, 3, Dirt Rally, whatever we're up to in the Dirt series these days. These cars don't do too well off-road. As a rule of thumb. Not strictly speaking what they're designed for, so staying off the grass would be a big bonus.
Try to force an error. He's under big pressure now. Come on, you can
Don't take too much inside curve and don't run too wide, that's the trick. To the first corner, and back into the forest we go. And slowly we gain. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Are we going to be near enough to dive in at the chicane? Might just be enough. I'm going to go for it. And we're going to get hit off the track, and he's going to cut the corner like a cheating little bastard. Because of course they can also go off track and not be affected by it. Oh, the AI on this game. Well, we're going to put him back on the grass and teach him a lesson. And we're going to spin off track and undo all of that progress we just did, because somehow I managed to spin through a flat out corner. So now we're back down to where we started. Fan-fucking-tastic. Physics on this game sometimes are so frustrating. I love this game and I hate it in equal goddamn measure. I'm sure some people will say it's incredibly realistic, and for the most part it is. It's just also incredibly frustrating sometimes because it takes a crap on itself and realism seems to escape out the window. I don't know what it's like. I drive with a controller, I don't mind admitting that. Maybe it's more realistic driving with a wheel and pedals and a shifter, I don't know. I don't drive in real life, so I don't understand how that would work, and I don't really have any intention of finding it out because I'm pretty sure it would just be a waste of money and the thing would get smashed to pieces when I unleash my major hellion rage on it. It's true. I can't even find a counter argument to that, quite frankly. Because it's true. Let's see if we can get in this guy before the chicane, but then he'll probably cut the chicane and cheat. No, he'll just turn in on us and give no shits about it. Now, he must have known that I was up the inside of him. I was practically on his arse. And he still turned in. Ridiculous. I've never seen a racing game where the AI don't actually know how to race. Oh, he lost a wheel. That guy hit the chicane and lost a wheel, I think. Well, we got P10 back anyway, but we should be P9 now. In fact, we should be P8, quite frankly, because that two bastards in front of me who don't... Oh god, I'm gonna spin. I had to hold on to it so well there. Should have spun that, really. That was the worst way to take that chicane. That's not how to do it. Just FYI, there are ways to take corners and ways not to, and that was definitely how not to take that chicane. So this video can be educational. It's got a little bit of history in it about the track that is much lamented and missed, and it's educational about how not to drive chicanes. So don't ever say I don't serve a purpose. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him on this
Think
lap.
about where he's slower than you. Keep pushing and see if you can take him under braking into the slow corner.
I think they're all running more aero than I am on this setup. So I'm demon in a straight line, but their cornering speeds are much, much better than me, as you'll now see. Well, I mean, you know, that doesn't help. P10 it is going to be at best then, I guess. Really unforgiving, these curves. Not for the AI, I mean the AI just fuck about with them like it's nobody's business, but for me, I hit a curve on this game and it's Spin City. So I do try and avoid them, and unfortunately in trying to avoid them I seem to end up hitting them more. It's really ironic, actually.
Try and take him on this lap. See if you can force him into an
Yeah,
error and slip
we
past.
don't have time for that, Mr. Engineer. Not unless I find a corner where I'm 3 seconds faster than him in the stadium section. And I just don't think I have that kind of downforce on my car. Oh well, P10 it is then. Was hoping for better. Would have done better too if the fucking AI had the proper levels of intelligence. Still, at the end of the day, it is only a game. But one day, I pray and hope that the AI in this game will get a little bit of intelligence and recognise when you're overtaking them rather than just turn straight into the corner. That would be nice. Really would. How far did I come off the lead? 13 seconds. I was never realistically going to win that, but I could have been further up. I could have been about here, 8th, maybe 7th at a stretch. Oh well, maybe next. Alright, thanks for watching this Project Cars episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry we couldn't do any better. If you enjoyed what you see, hit that like and subscribe buttons. And this is the Lord Hellion saying, until the next time, have a good sin.